Not starting. Hello, everyone. We are now on the record with tonight's live stream. We are live. I have Wendy with me. How is everybody doing? Say hi, Wendy. We are now on the record.
I had that muted, I guess.
That's okay.
I feel like I was being introduced on a radio station.
You are, except it's not radio.
Yeah.
It's the next best thing.
Yeah. Even better because of the comments.
Oh, yeah. So how's everyone doing tonight? How many we have watching right now? See, YouTube changed up it's on the left side now. Okay, 8 people. See, I told you, I'm lucky if I get 15 at a time. So the purpose of tonight's live stream, and it's not going to be as long as the ones I do normally go for, like, oh God, into the night, 6 to 8 hours. But I think I'll be lucky if I can do an hour and a half without completely falling face first on my desk, because
That's okay. I don't want to do 6 hours either.
Yeah, I'm pretty tired tonight. So the purpose of tonight's live stream is I wanted to, Wendy and I have been talking about things, and wanted to talk about, as you can see by the title, YouTube search algorithms, optimization tips and advice for getting views, and SEO. If anybody doesn't know what SEO is, that is search engine optimization. There are a lot of tips, and YouTube is known for changing things up all the time. So they change their algorithms, how videos are likely to get picked up on from people's searches, and also the recommended section that you all see. It's everybody's goal to end up in the recommended section, and that's sometimes how videos will go viral. Now, I've done a lot of reading into optimizing videos for views and subscribers, and let me also say that there are obviously many different genres of videos on YouTube, and each genre has its own unique challenges to getting picked up by YouTube's algorithms and the way people search for videos. And dashcamming is no exception to that. It's a unique genre, and it has become increasingly difficult to grow a YouTube channel with a dashcamming topic. It's very hard. In the beginning, of course, it was easy. Back when I started, because there were maybe 5 other people dashcamming at the time.
Back in my day.
Back in my day, I had to walk in the snow over broken glass with no shoes to school when I was your age. So it was easy back then to be seen, to be picked up on, and to be to grow your channel. There wasn't any competition. You know, some of us aren't in it for the competition. I'm certainly not. But you know, it's nice to have a channel that that grows, picks up an audience. But as time has gone on over the years, the trend sort of picked up. The trend has become to buy a dash cam, hook one up, film, and post your crazies up on YouTube. And it's taken off so much that there are probably now, I haven't done any kind of estimations or any kind of preliminary counts on how many dash cameras there are out there. I don't even know if it's possible. But I know for a while DCE was sort of keeping track of the scene to see how fast the dashcam community is growing. And what was it, a year or two ago, he estimated that there were over 1,000 channels. And I think the community is growing exponentially. There are probably, I'm going to guess there are maybe 5,000 dash cameras out there. And that may not include ones who are serious dash cameras in the sense that they post regular clips. But nonetheless, there are a lot of us, and it's kind of become a saturated industry. So it's really hard to make a mark now. There is a dashcammer. I cannot remember his channel name, but he puts out really good content. Really good content. And his channel is just not growing. He's been doing it for a while, and it's not his subscriber count really isn't growing that fast. But yet he puts out amazing content, really good stuff. And if he had started that channel, let's see, when did I start? Back in 2011. So if he had started 6 years ago, I'm sure he'd, you know, be right up there with Bad Driver Southern California and Halo, subscriber count wise. And, you know, I don't want to say completely struggling, because he puts out really good content. So if you're just looking at it from the standpoint of how big of an audience he has, he really should have a bigger one by now. And that's just a testament to how challenging it is to become known. What are your thoughts on that, Wendy?
About the one person trying to grow, or?
Oh, just in general about dash cammers having a more difficult time now than, say, a year ago.
A good comparison for what's going on with the DashCam community is the same thing with the gamer community on YouTube. So
yeah,
some gamers doing Let's Plays and all that got really huge, and now everybody, you know, pumps out videos of games, but they're all little. So I think it's the same thing with us.
Yeah,
like
it is.
Like those of us who've been around for a while usually kind of grew real quick because it was new and there wasn't many people around. So
right.
It was easy. And now there's a million. And so now you kind of just like pass over people. And I think it's like multiple reasons why some people grow, some people don't. I mean,
there are, yeah. Because
you have to find a way to stick out and be noticed and be different.
Yeah.
But then there's also the changes and all the stuff that happens with YouTube that kind of makes it harder as well. So. Right.
It's challenging with the algorithms now. I'll go into that in a little bit here. What I've been reading about how the algorithms have changed, that makes it a little harder for us dash cammers. I've noticed lately, I would say maybe within the last 2 or 3 months, my viewership has plummeted. Like,
mine started in December, and that was about the time that everybody on YouTube saw it, like even the big channels.
Yeah.
That's when mine started to plummet. It was in December.
Yeah, so it's discouraging when something like that happens, and it's happened to me. And oh, I wanted to also, I promised you, Wendy, that I would tell you what my theory is for why when we upload videos we lose subscribers every time we upload a video.
Every time.
Yeah, every time.
That's one of the reasons why I went to every other week. There's several reasons that made me move to every other week instead of weekly, but that was one of them. Like, I literally didn't want to post a video,
right?
Because I would lose a ton of subscribers, and like when I went to every other week, the week that I didn't post a video, I gained a lot of subscribers.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I posted the next Friday video, they're all gone. So
my theory for that is, this happens to me too. You're definitely not the only one that's happening to.
Yeah.
So people subscribe, they find your content one way or another, and they watch your videos, and they subscribe. Okay. Then you got to post, one of your usual videos, and they see it and they go, "Oh, maybe I don't like this," so they unsubscribe. It's so they're or it could be a small variant of my theory could be you're not your compilations, but your standalone videos, like say, I'm trying to rack my brain here for what you've posted that's standalone clips that are exciting and they deserve their own videos. I don't have a good memory.
Those were always like the, you know, the term money makers. Those were the view numbers.
Right.
Like,
so
that would get a ton of views, and then people would check out the rest of your channel. Those even aren't getting recognized and getting views at all anymore, which is why I stopped that.
Right. So
you know what I mean?
So people would find those videos, those standalone videos. Oh, this is exciting stuff. So they subscribe, and then we come out with a compilation. Excuse me, a compilation. Oh, I don't like this guy's content anymore, so they unsubscribe. That is my theory. That's why I believe I tend to lose an average of 3 or 4 to maybe even up to 5 subscribers every time I post a video.
Yeah.
About that.
So I want to bring up something.
Go ahead.
So when I look at my subscribers, right, it tells you if they unsubscribed or subscribed on a video or off your channel.
Yes.
The ones on the video make sense because they watch a video, they're in the middle of watching it, and they realize they hate it, or they realize they just don't want to watch you anymore, so they hit unsubscribe off of that video, even if it just shows up in the sub feed. I would get like 1 or 2 of those, but all of the rest were unsub off my channel, which means they went to the channel to unsub, which in my opinion doesn't make sense and doesn't match human what's the word?
Behavior?
Behavior, yes. So if I unsub to somebody, it's usually off a video based on like I see them in my sub feed all the time. I'm like, you know what? I'm just not watching them anymore. So I'll click on that video that showed up in my sub feed so I can unsubscribe through the video, you know? Or a lot of times you can just hover over their name on a video and unsubscribe. You don't even have to go to the video.
Right.
So to me, human behavior, like what would make you think to physically stop and take the time to go to someone's channel to unsubscribe?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me based on just based on how humans work and how the internet works and how instant everything is.
Yeah. You know, yeah, it's easy to get discouraged, as we were talking about off the record about these things. I've gotten, you know, been there. I know.
Like I think
times.
We're not the only ones. Like even the larger, like the YouTubers that are in like the millions, they have the same problem. It cannot be all that unsubscribing going on every time someone posts a video. That to me, it is something broken, because there have been many times where someone will comment on my video or send me a message in Facebook saying YouTube unsubscribed me from you. I had to resubscribe, you know? I got that many times where people say that, oh, and if they're not paying attention, if they're not someone who will notice, if they don't see your video popping up in sub feed, they're not going to notice that they're unsubbed. So then they'll never see your videos.
Yeah, I don't know if that's happening. I know that was happening for a while. Is that still happening to your knowledge?
I think it's still happening, because I'll actually look at my subscribers. You can see your subscribers if they don't have their subscription blocked. And there'll be people that I know subbed to me a long time ago, and they show up as a new subscriber.
Yeah.
So there is something wrong.
Yeah.
With that in particular.
Yeah.
And it makes me mad, because they subbed to my channel. They want to see my videos, but YouTube is like, no, screw that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're just gonna unsub.
Right.
I mean, it's totally fine if people unsub. Like, I get it.
Oh yeah.
You don't want to watch me anymore. You changed, or I changed, or it's just not your thing anymore. I totally get that. That happens all the time. Like, I do it. I've unsubbed from somebody I used to watch all the time, but I'm like, I don't want to anymore. You know.
When you moved from Connecticut to Tucson, did your sub count change when you switched the videos from Connecticut to Tucson?
Not when the videos switched themselves. So when I announced, every time I made a video talking about my move, I would lose a bunch of subscribers.
Oh, okay.
It would be lost off of the video. It wasn't off the channel.
Yeah.
So I'll see a subscriber drop, and I'll go check it, and it'll say off videos, and then I go further, and it would be off of that video of me talking about moving. So
yeah,
when I made the transition to Arizona videos, I didn't see a drop in subs. Eventually, like views isn't a story, but
look who just went live just now, Stanley Roberts. He just went live.
That's okay, we're better.
It just popped up in the lower right of my screen. Well, I guess it's the night to do live streams because he is.
That's all right, we're better.
But anyway, it's normal when your channel goes through a change of any kind.
Yeah.
That you will lose a huge chunk of subscribers. I'll cite a couple examples. Allie Knight, she was a trucker, and she did vlogs daily, every day, and people subbed for the trucking, that she did. And she's a great YouTuber. As time went on, the quality of her videos improved, and then she sort of retired from trucking. She's a young gal, actually. She I don't know how she was able to afford this, but she sort of quit trucking, and now she hooked up with a guy, and she's touring the country in an RV. And she lost a huge chunk of subscribers, and I'm sure as time goes on, she'll gain them back. People who are interested in the RVing. Same with Repo Nut. I don't know what his subscriber count got up to, but he got up to some huge number. And things happen in his life. He lost Shonda, his wife, and his life just kind of fell apart. And he's not repoing anymore. And he lost about a third of his subscribers, so he lost tens of thousands of them, and he's moving on to other things in the YouTube world, and he'll get them back. It's just a matter of time, and it can take a great deal of time.
That's understandable. Like, I'm not like having a fit over that.
I mean, that's a more drastic example.
I'm having a fit about just the unsubbing that's happening that I don't think is people actively
actually unsubbing. Yeah, the YouTube algorithm.
I knew that I was going to see a drop when I moved, because I had a huge portion of subscribers that were from Connecticut, obviously.
Oh yeah.
So every time I announced that I was leaving Connecticut, and then every time I made a video talking about my move, I would lose like 5 or 7 subscribers.
Yeah.
But they were off of the video. Like, it didn't say they unsubbed from my channel. They unsubbed while they were in that video.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that makes sense. It sucks, but I totally understand that they wanted to see Connecticut videos, and I'm no longer going to be posting those. So that's totally understandable.
Oh yeah.
But I have a problem with people being unsubbed when they didn't want to be unsubbed.
Right.
And the fact that it literally happens every time I post a video, that's wrong, Because usually when you post a video, you're supposed to gain subs. And before all this YouTube issues that started for me in December, every time I posted a video, I always gained.
Yeah.
And now it's like I'm scared to post a video because I'm going to lose.
Right. Sure. What? Oh,
I just like I'm just trying to get that across. Like I'm not like because people. It's just some of the comments that are going on in the chat. Like I'm not upset
yeah,
if people want to unsub because it's gonna happen. You know, like they get tired of my videos or they don't like what I've changed or they grew out of them. You know, it happens.
yeah,
You know, it's totally fine. But it's not fine when someone
right,
is just auto unsubbed by YouTube.
right, right.
That's not fine because they aren't choosing it.
So it may be a combination of that plus the theory I put forth, because I really do, believe that, that people will find our standalone videos and then they'll sub based on that, and then when they see us post a
Yeah,
compilation, they're like, eh.
I haven't. Yeah,
I
and
think that happens too.
that's totally reasonable. That's a reasonable theory that you
Yeah,
have. I haven't
yeah,
posted one of those kind of videos in a while.
in a long time, yeah. Um. Okay, so
Anyway,
let's. Yeah. So I've been doing a lot of reading, and I'm going to switch screens here, so I won't be able to see the sidebar. But just to give credit to the web page that I'm going to be using for this, I'm going to go ahead and cite the page. So it's backlinko.com. So back, linko.com /YouTube ranking factors. And this was written this year, so it's should be pretty much up to date here. YouTube has changed a few things about the way they recommend videos, the way they show up in search. At one time, for example, likes and dislikes mattered. If you had more likes than dislikes, you were more likely to get bumped to the top. And then there was a time where they basically undid that. It didn't matter anymore whether you had more likes versus dislikes. Now that's changed back again. But I'll go through the different things here.
so what is this website's credibility?
Well, they did some tests. They actually tested these out. So I give it quite a bit of weight, and I've also cross-referenced some of what they're saying with other sites, so they seem to agree on what the latest algorithms are and how things are ranked, how videos are ranked. And feel free to interject at any time while I'm not going to like read the whole thing. I'm just going to kind of outline it real quick here. Let me skip past their summary. Now, one thing they're really going strong with now is interaction. Engagement, actually. That's probably the better word here. Engagement. So video comments have a very strong correlation with rankings. So what they did was they made a graph that kind of shows what their data, their tests and the data that they got from the test.
Can I already interject?
Yeah, go ahead.
Some of the #1 videos are the toy review videos.
Ah.
And they have billions of views.
Yeah.
And they have the kind of the amount of comments that we get, which means that's really poor and horrible interaction for a video that's getting billions of views. And they don't have that many likes and dislikes.
Yeah. There's a lot of different factors that go into it. Like comments by themselves will have probably very little effect, but when you pair it with, couple it with other things, then you start getting better results.
I'm just like, I fully believe that comments, likes, and dislikes mean nothing. And
yeah,
you know of the channel, The Game Theorists?
Yeah.
Okay. So they frequently talk about YouTube and the algorithms and stuff.
Yeah.
I follow them a lot. and they are people who do consultation and stuff when it comes to like videos, and they work with YouTube as well.
Yeah.
And like the algorithm has gotten so big and huge because it's like YouTube themselves, the people that work for YouTube, wouldn't even be able to tell you the algorithm because the computer has learned and altered so much. But that the likes and dislikes still don't mean anything. Like they literally don't mean anything other than telling you if your fans liked your video or not. Like it doesn't do anything via algorithm wise. So that's where I get a lot of my YouTube information from.
Yeah.
So, but you can keep.
Yeah, because there's a lot of variables involved that can complicate that, but somehow they have a way of testing this. I'm not honestly sure what their testing methods are, how they do it, but they have a way to. It might explain it in the article how they test it. Another thing that I've heard more and more recently, and it's not just this website, but longer videos outrank shorter videos. So it says here, when it comes to video SEO, you're better off with longer videos. And it shows that has an even stronger ranking signal. That longer videos significantly outrank short videos. So it says here the average length of a video ranking on the first page of YouTube is 14 minutes and 50 seconds.
Yep.
Doesn't mean you have to post something that long, but
it's all about watch time.
Yeah, watch time does make a huge difference, and that's part of the engagement.
It's always been it. Yeah, it's always been like watch time. Once they when they switched over like a few years ago, it's always been about watch time.
Well, it says here, it says here in 2015, Google was granted a patent for an algorithm that uses watch time as a ranking signal. So definitely. If you're getting over, I think the target is 50% or 51%. If you're getting 51% audience retention at least, then you will be picked up on the algorithm for search, and more likely to be featured in the recommended. If you're getting less than 50%, then you won't be picked up.
Yeah.
That was according to a different site, but this one seems.
I think I heard that from the Game Theorists as well. Is that the watch time is there, but they're also like integrating like the percentage.
Yeah. And the reasoning for that, YouTube's reasoning is they want to promote videos that keep people on YouTube for a long period of time.
Yeah, it makes sense. It battles. It kind of tries to battle clickbait because you click on a video, you've been baited, you click away, so the video might get like a ton of views, but everybody's clicking away.
Yeah. Video shares are also strongly tied to higher rankings. Google denied that, but.
Wait, can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Sure. Video shares, so if you use the share function,
okay,
it's also strongly tied to higher rankings because, again, it all comes down to engagement. So every facet of engagement seems to have a high ranking signal. But it should be noted here, as it says in the article, that YouTube's algorithm works independently of Google. So your Google search algorithms don't work the same as YouTube's algorithms. They use different methods. But for the purpose of this video and this article, it will focus on YouTube views. YouTube algorithms. Okay, let me scroll down a little bit, but this is interesting stuff. View count. It says here that view count is significantly correlated with rankings. Doesn't mean it's near the top, but it's significant enough to mention. Oh, wait a minute. The video's view count is significantly correlated. It used to be actually YouTube's #1 ranking factor. Used to be. And then they changed that. But then YouTube discovered that views serve as a poor indicator of video quality, and then they started focusing on quality over quantity of views. So they and the way they do that is through audience retention and engagement, as we've mentioned before.
Mm-hmm.
But view count does continues to have an impact on rankings. And there's some other surprising things that I didn't realize until I read this article. So I'm going to scroll down here. They found that a channel subscriber count is moderately correlated with rankings. So it doesn't play a huge role, but it plays a little bit of a role. So how many subscribers you have. They cite some really good, not only did they do some tests, but they also cited some good examples of that. It says videos with lots of likes outrank videos with fewer likes. I don't know how significant that is, but they have a graph that shows their data on how video likes influenced the rankings. Because it says here it serves as a powerful engagement signal. So that's that. I'm not going to read the whole article. Just kind of going through the little tidbits here. Here's another thing that I didn't even think about. Videos that result in new channel subscribers rank higher than videos that don't generate subscribers. So that the whole thing that we were sort of talking about earlier, you know, how people can subscribe either from your channel or from your video.
Uh-huh.
When they subscribe through your video, that helps the engagement. It shows Google that, or shows YouTube that there's, you know, plenty of engagement there.
Right.
Yeah. Now, this I kind of knew that tags have for years now haven't really made a huge difference. Up until, I don't know, a few years ago, they were kind of had a you know, a very kind of moderate effect. But nowadays, keyword-rich tags have a weak correlation with YouTube rankings. So they say not to spend too much time on tags.
Your video can't be seen if you're not on tags. You need a lot of. You just need a lot of tags.
Yeah. Well, it says in the early days of online video, platforms like YouTube relied on metadata to understand your video's topic. For example, and I'm kind of reading excerpts here, YouTube would analyze your video's title, description, tags, even your video's file name. And the more text you could attach to your video, the better. Today, YouTube can listen to every word of your video without needing you to upload a transcription. So they have voice recognition software that that does that and kind of does a metadata automatically now. And according to their data, it really doesn't have much of an impact. That's just according to their data. It just says tags aren't as important as they once were. Our data shows they still make a small dent. So it still makes sense to use them. You know, every little bit of help you can get, if that's true, you know. Keyword optimized titles, it used to be big. That used to be a big thing. You know, stuff as many important keywords in that title as you can. The most important keywords towards the beginning of your title, but that they'll get truncated after like 60 characters. Nowadays, titles are slightly correlated with rankings. Traditionally, your video's title was a piece of metadata that YouTube put a lot of emphasis on. And it says here, however, we found that including an exact keyword in your video only has a slight potential impact on rankings. And they found that it was like a 4% exact title match, which isn't very good according to their data. And they're, yeah. They believe that their data shows that YouTube has developed a deeper understanding of a title's meaning, just through recognizing what's being said in there. This says here now that there's no correlation between keyword optimized descriptions and rankings for that term. That really surprises me to read that. But according to their data, it had a almost no impact. I mean, I'm still going to do it.
How did they get this data?
I'm going to scroll down some more and see. I'm hoping there are ways to test it. There are apps that can test these sort of things. I do know that, and I'm hoping maybe they'll explain that towards the bottom of this article. But it's a really long article. Let's see. HD videos dominate the first page of YouTube search results. Of course, we're pretty much all shooting in HD now.
Who isn't HD?
Who's not in HD? Oh, is that the extent of the article? Yeah, hang on just one second. Yeah, I thought it was a really long article, but I guess it wasn't. But it's a brand new study here. It says we collected and analyzed the data over the last 2 weeks. The author is Brian Dean. He gets high marks in the comments underneath his article. No one's really, I don't see any criticism to his methods here. I mean, he doesn't really, I don't know if he talks about his methods, but they do change, technology changes and how things are picked up, and I think that would explain why the data is just so different now on how videos are picked up and recommended. But I'm still looking here for an explanation of his methods.
I just think it's I know like stuff has to change and blah 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 blah, but when all of a sudden everybody sees like major dramatic drop in views,
right?
Like what's going on there,
Right.
And I remember when the larger YouTube channels, and when I say large, I mean the ones in millions. They were like, I've noticed it just as a viewer. All of a sudden, I'm getting recommended old ass videos. And now I'm noticing it with my own videos that the only reason why I'm still maintaining my usual monthly view count is because old videos they made like 2 years ago
Yeah.
are suddenly getting 40,000 views.
It could be that the way they're
I made this video and it was just a random video I knew wouldn't get views, but I made it because I wanted to and only got like a couple hundred views. And now all of a sudden these silly little videos are making 40,000 views. I'm like, what is this? And when you look at where views are coming from, it's all recommended and suggested.
Yeah.
All of it is recommended and suggested. So it's like, why are you recommending my old stuff? Not that I'm complaining.
Yeah.
About that, but why aren't you recommending my new stuff? What I am complaining about.
Yeah. As far as explaining the sudden drop all across the board with YouTubers, what could be going on is, as we've discussed, the technology changes for SEO, and also YouTube and Google are constantly restructuring their algorithms. And when there's a major restructurization that happens, it wouldn't surprise me that it interrupts the flow, if you will, and all of a sudden things go wonky until the system kind of irons itself out. Because anytime you roll something out, there's oftentimes bugs that need to be worked out, and that could be part of it. But And then there's other things, of course. Times of the year have a huge impact on how many views we get, how fast channels grow. Days of the week on a smaller scale. But I don't know if anybody really knows.
Nope, nobody knows.
You know, because it's very rare that a YouTuber has access to direct support. You know, Google support. It's only the really big YouTubers that have.
YouTube's not communicating with anybody.
Well, they do communicate with the big YouTubers, the ones that have millions of subscribers. They're so big that.
Yeah, but they're also not really communicating what's going on there either.
Right, they might not be telling them everything.
They're just not.
Or even most of what's going on.
Because they've complained about it.
Yeah, they have. But they do have access to support, and they're able to get a little bit of information.
Yeah.
But YouTube's obviously hiding something, hiding what they're doing.
Well, you know, I understand that they don't want to like say certain things due to competition and whatever. But to leave all the creators in the dark, the very creators that made YouTube big,
right?
It's just kind of annoying to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not that us little guys matter, but for them to not even communicate with their big guys, it's just silly,
Right. So I think it still all comes down to making dynamite content and trying to stand out. I think that's the number one battle, the number one strategy for trying to grow a channel is just trying to stand out. I think that's the number one thing.
You need a good title, you need a good thumbnail, and your content's got to be enough to keep their attention.
Even if it's true that title and description don't make a difference, you can still write them for human beings.
I'm pretty darn sure that the titles mean everything, because you can get yourself demonetized off a title.
Yeah, that's true.
On my other channel, what holes in one of my titles.
Oh yeah,
because I was talking about opinions.
Yeah,
that saying, and that video got demonetized because that was in the title. So to me,
but that's
titles absolutely matter, along with tags on if something gets recommended. Because
that's a whole that's a whole other system though, as far as monetization. Like they have automatic filters that
oh, I know.
Flag,
but like I totally disagree that titles don't do anything with the algorithm.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of neutral about that, because it always has made a difference. It always has, and now there's an article that comes along.
Like if you look at, I can go to my analytics and pick out one of the old videos that is, getting tons of views right now, and every recommended video is off of any suggested video is off of videos of the same exact type. So we have similar titles and similar tags.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm getting recommended for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like tags and title absolutely matter. And that research, that's why I'm like questioning.
Yeah, it's good to question it.
I'm questioning how they got that stuff. Like, how do they get the data and how did they analyze it? Because I just really don't agree with that.
Yeah. Now, even if it's true, I mean, I'm going to remain neutral, I think, until I do a little more research on that. Even if it's true that titles mean nothing as far as our algorithm, they would still obviously mean a lot, because you would want to also write them for the people that see the titles. Like, okay, you got to make it catchy and interesting at the very least.
Their attention. Yep.
So you got to write it for a human being rather than a machine. I mean, well, or you can try to do both. You can try to write it for both a machine with an algorithm and a person. And yes, the catchy thumbnail. Wendy's absolutely right about that. You got to pick your best thumbnail.
Oh, that's got to be, because that's going to be catching someone's eye way before the title.
That's hard. it's sometimes deciding, oh, which freeze frame is best out of this video that I should use.
It can't
Sometimes,
just, yeah, it can't just be a
yeah.
freeze frame. No, it's got to have something on it. That's why, like when
Well,
I
what I mean is a freeze frame for the being the basis of your thumbnail.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So you start with freeze frame from your video, and then you have to put something on it, like you said, something to draw viewers in. And that's a challenge sometimes, figuring out, okay, which freeze frame am I going to base my thumbnail off of? It's like, oh, this looks good. Oh, wait, this one looks good too. Well, you got to think like your viewers, and then pick the one you think is most exciting, and then, like Wendy said, you got to put something on it. And which is what I do. I put a little bit of text on it.
Yeah, see, when your videos pop up in my sub feed, I kind of like see it almost first amongst all my other subscriptions.
Really?
Yeah, because you're using a really bright green.
Yeah.
And
bright colors are good.
It like snaps my eyes right to your thumbnail.
Yeah.
So, and that's what they're supposed to do, because you're
Yeah.
supposed to catch the people who like see it out the corner of their eye on the sidebar on the recommendations. They're gonna, you know, look at it and stuff. So.
Yeah, and people will see the thumbnail first before they see the title. It's just, you know, not even human psychology, just the way our vision works. We're drawn towards the more colorful item, and the title is just black text, kind of boring black text. So you're gonna see the thumbnail first. So make your thumbnail really stand out. And for branding, I notice you're doing this. Is you want to brand your thumbnails too, so that it's recognizable instantly if it's showing up in a ocean of other thumbnails. Like, oh, whoa, that's Wendy's thumbnail there.
Yeah. A perfect example was Halos.
Yeah.
So he was doing just a basic screenshot with a number for a long time.
Yeah.
And there became so many bad drivers of South Carolina that I would click on a video thinking it was his, but it wasn't his.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be disappointed. And
it's a little tricky.
Yeah, right? So he recently started putting his blue tree on his thumbnails now. Because everybody and their brother is doing large numbers for a thumbnail, you know?
Right.
And for me, now I see his videos quicker and sift through the people I don't want to watch or don't want to watch yet, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, and I actually commented on one of his videos one time. I said, that's a good thumbnail. I can finally see what your video is, which one's your video. So, like, to me, that's a good example, because he suddenly changed his thumbnail a bit, and it's a little bit more visual. It like kind of sticks out a little bit more.
Right.
So, it's just you gotta do something different from what everybody else is doing.
Right.
It also has to be like, you know, big or bright enough to catch.
You have to optimize your content for the YouTube algorithm, and you have to optimize your content for humans and what they're psychologically more likely to be drawn to.
Yeah.
And you have to cater to that. Now, the one thing in that article that I've seen elsewhere, so I definitely believe that is, back to the engagement, is the shares. A video that gets shared a lot on social media will be ranked higher. And it's just YouTube gradually moving towards or weighting more heavily on engagement. Engagement means everything nowadays. And I've seen that pretty much everywhere. It's no secret or surprise anymore that engagement is really, really big. So
in the end, you want engagement because it shows that people like the video and they like what you're doing, and you can hear feedback, and if they love what you're doing, you know you're doing it right. Or if they comment that you're not doing something well, or they, multiple people don't like something, then you know that, okay, maybe you might have to change it or something like that.
Yeah.
So engagement helps you as a creator adjust.
That's right. That too.
What you need to do,
Yeah.
As opposed to if it's part of the algorithm, it should be part of the algorithm, in my opinion. Because if someone's mass disliking a video, obviously no one likes it, so it should be recommended.
Right.
But I honestly don't think it's part of the algorithm.
Yeah.
Based on what I've heard and seen. But it could be.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just trying to think. We did cover a lot.
Yeah.
We covered quite a bit here. I'm trying to think. What else? So you have good content, catchy thumbnails, catchy titles.
In the end, it all comes down to like content and how you edit your video, and
Right.
Because you may
ultimately, yes,
catch their attention, but if your video is boring or whatever, you're not going to keep on.
They're going to click out, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, I'm yawning. Whew. Wow. It's been a weekend. It's been quite a weekend.
Yeah.
But yes, if you're got to have exciting content. I think that's still the #1 thing. That's above anything else, is just having exciting content. Be picky about the clips that you include.
A unique problem that we have as dash cammers is, YouTube favors longer videos because it's for watch time, but we don't have the kind of content that should be in long videos.
Yeah, that's one of the unique challenges with this genre.
I can't watch a 20-minute video of dash camming.
Well, that kind of brings me to my deleted scenes thing that I'm doing now.
Yeah.
Clips that I would normally not include in a compilation go there because I still want to share everything that I capture. I hate throwing things away.
Yeah.
So I'm a hoarder when it comes to these clips. So I figured, well, instead of I get pickier with my normal compilations so that I give something more exciting for people to watch, but I don't want to waste these other clips either. So I'll do special compilations once in a while that have all these deleted clips for people who still want to see everything that I upload. And then if people choose not to watch those because they know that they're not as exciting, well, then they can skip over them. And I don't want to post. I don't want to be posting too many of them either. So that kind of leaves me with doing longer deleted scenes compilations, like on the order of 30, 40 minutes long, which I would rather not do that long, but I also don't want to be uploading them constantly, because if I upload just as many deleted scenes compilations as my regular compilations, then what happens is that starts to hurt my overall audience retention, because I know that the average watch time on the deleted scenes compilations aren't going to be very high compared to the other ones. And so I'd rather sort of sequester those videos and not release them very often. Maybe every 4th or 5th compilation, regular compilation. And then that way it doesn't hurt my overall audience retention on my channel. So, but of course the downside is that the deleted scenes ones are really long. Yeah. Still there, Wendy?
I'm here.
Oh, you're there. Okay.
Did you ask a question, or I didn't?
No, I just.
Oh, you
just
did?
went really quiet. I'm like, I hope I didn't lose Wendy.
I'm still here.
Okay. Yeah. So, It's an interesting challenge being a dash cammer, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, like I mentioned this earlier to you, that I think dash cameras are kind of restricted too in the kind of content they make. So,
Yeah, that's right. We don't have
like
much.
people sign on to watch bad drivers and cars and stuff. So
Yeah.
if you show something that's not that, people have a shit fit, or
Yeah,
And
that's why I've gotten really picky also about what topics I cover in videos. Like I've done some kind of random stuff that had nothing to do with bad driving, and I lost a ton of subscribers, so I kind of learned not to do that anymore. If I want to upload videos that have nothing to do with bad driving, then I'll just start another YouTube channel. I think I've seen a lot of dash cameras do that, where they upload content that has nothing to do with bad driving, and it really starts to. I think it hurts their genre a bit. Vista is asking the question. I haven't been answering a lot of questions in the sidebar because we're kind of trying to stick to one topic, but I'll answer his question. He says, "How's the Rexing V1 holding up so far?" Video-wise, are holding up great. I hardly ever have any errors with them. I've never had a random shutdown of a dash cam, the Rexing that is. But I am having a little issue with the audio. Sometimes sounds really faint, and I don't know why between clips. So I think the next cam I get is going to be an A119 or something. But anyway, back to what we were talking about. Now, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, uploading irrelevant content. I think once in a while is okay, but there are some dash cameras that do a lot of that. And then people subscribe and are like, well, I don't really know what I'm subscribing to. What is this person's direction? Is it dash camming? What is it? But I think once in a while is okay. Uploading something that has nothing to do with dash camming. It's just, I don't think people would want to be doing that all the time.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's kind of silly.
Yeah.
Because what if this person wants to, express themselves? And I'm going to talk about myself too.
That's okay. Yeah.
I want to make different videos, but I want people to see them, and it's like one of those things where you just want to do something different besides doing a freaking compilation of bad drivers.
Right.
That's why it's like kind of not fair that people are like so not close-minded, but like picky, that like, oh, it's a dashcam channel, why are you posting this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Nick's skits are hilarious.
Yeah.
But they don't get anywhere near the views as his comps, and I think that's stupid.
Right.
Because he puts so much freaking effort into his videos.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah.
And like, having been involved with 2 videos so far, he puts a lot of work into them.
Yeah.
And it's just like silly that those don't get the recognition, because he keeps it kind of involved with the car and the theme, and the theme and all. He has his car involved in something like that, but
yeah,
it's just like, it's sad.
It is. I mean, but I think it comes down to why the majority of subscribers subscribe. It's kind of like, kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Repo Nut and Alley Knight, start posting different content, and then they lose a chunk of subscribers, and they don't get nearly the views on the other content. Well, and it just takes time to adjust.
What did he change in his content? Because like, there's a difference between changing your content dramatically, like you're suddenly going away from comps altogether and just doing something completely different.
I was just using
adding to it. Like, you're still doing dash cam videos, but you're also doing something else, you know?
Yeah, it's a bad comparison in a way, but I was also doing that to using an extreme example just to kind of illustrate on a smaller scale. Like if you usually post dash cam videos and then you post something that's not a dash cam video, you're not going to get very many views on it because of where your subscribers are at. And it sucks. I know what you're saying. It totally sucks. It's just, I think, a reality of what people have signed on for. And it's happened to me. I've posted stuff that had nothing to do with that and put a lot of work into it and gotten hardly anything.
I love it when I see something different on a channel.
Yeah.
I love it. You know, so
Yeah.
I just don't get why people are gonna be so
are picky. People are picky.
Picky, close-minded.
They're really picky. Yeah.
You know, like lacking the ability to just look at something like I love it when someone does something different.
Oh yeah, me too. I do too. It's just that people are extremely picky. It's like they know what they like. They're the kind of people that go to a restaurant and order the same thing all the time.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
That's just sad. Like, that's just sad.
Yeah. It is. I know. Because Nick's content, well, both his dashcam videos and his non-dashcamming videos deserve. Well, his compilations obviously get the views that he's expecting. But you're right. It sucks that his non-driving ones don't.
He's another example about tags, okay? Actually, now that I think about it. So, in January, when we made the first video, when we were just hanging out, he let me get into his account. And what I did, like a ton of behind-the-scenes stuff.
Yeah.
I tagged his channel like crazy, and I gave him a bunch of default upload tags. Like he would have like 2 or 3 tags on his video, and I threw in tons of tags, at least 20 tags, right?
Yeah.
And he had an increase. He started seeing an increase in views and subscribers.
Yeah.
After that, so I think it's pretty obvious that tags
make a difference. Yeah.
Like, because I remember having a conversation with him, and I asked him, "How many tags do you use?" He goes, "I don't know, like maybe 3." And I'm like, "Dude, I have default 20 tags on my videos."
Yeah, same here. I make full use of them.
And people are shocked when when I ask, "Do you have your channel tagged?" They're like, "You can tag your channel?" Like, you know, so tagging is extremely important in my opinion.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I don't know. I just think it's stupid that people don't.
People are so picky. Yeah, like when I upload
you know, it's not like a person is changing completely. Like, well, I'm not going to do dashcam videos anymore. I understand that. Like, okay, well, I don't want to watch you anymore if you're not doing dashcam, you know.
Well, when I do a driving time lapse and I upload it, I get hardly any views on it.
Oh yeah, same.
And then I lose subscribers.
Yeah.
It's like, wow. It just goes to show how absolutely picky people are. Like I said, they're probably the same people that go to a restaurant and order the exact same thing off the menu every damn time.
Well, I do that.
I do too.
But the food is different.
But I'm not that way with videos. Yeah. I'm that way at restaurants, but I'm not that way with videos. But still, I contend that they are the people that order the same thing off the menu.
People don't like change, but I just think it's silly to disregard one-off videos or a second series. Like, they think that having this extra set of videos is bad.
Right.
And they refuse to watch them, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just, like, don't you want variety in your life? Like,
I guess not.
it was super interesting when you posted those super old videos. Like, that was really cool. And
Right.
when Nick started his skits, I was like ecstatic. I'm like, these are great. I love it, you know?
Yeah.
And he still does his comps. I still get to see those. It's like whenever somebody puts something new, I'll watch it. And sometimes I don't like it, but I watch it and give it a try. And I'll at least appreciate that they are doing something different, you know?
Right. Yeah. Well, in doing so, I think sometimes losing subscribers is actually a good thing in a way, if you're striving for quality of your subscribers over quantity, because it weeds out the ones that you don't want as subscribers anyway.
Yeah, the people who
Doing things like this.
who aren't like loyal or aren't appreciated.
Yeah, like the truck video, the truck driver video that pulled out in front of me, and I reported him and
I don't get why
uploaded the video.
Big deal.
And I did lose a good chunk of subscribers, and that's fine with me because it kind of weeded out the ones that I wouldn't want anyway. And yeah, I got a fair amount of hate on that, understandably, but you know, I don't know.
So there was a question way back.
Yeah.
Let me scroll to it. But it's Mando. Yeah.
Oh.
He asked us,
right, I think I remember that question. I just never got to answer it. What was that question?
How difficult is it now to create a channel name based on all this genre of content?
To establish a name itself without copying someone else, you mean?
His question is, how difficult is it now to create a channel name based on this genre of content? So I'm thinking, if he's still in here, maybe they can elaborate. Is it just creating a channel or creating a channel name? Because those might be two different ones. And
right. It could mean two different things.
Yeah, like, because making up a channel name definitely is way more difficult now than it was in the beginning.
Yeah.
But creating a channel, that's just the same as always. Just start off, you know, on, just start posting the videos.
Right.
But the channel name is difficult, but you've got to do something different, you know? I remember, yeah, so he is talking about the names. How can you stand out? So you've got to you've got to find a way to be different, because, so I remember talking to, I don't know who I was talking to, you, Cammie, Six, Nick, could have been one of them. And what was I saying? I just like lost my train of thought. Oh, because I was talking about on Instagram, someone followed me and they had the name. First it was Bad Drivers of Connecticut, and then it was Connecticut Roadcam. So it's literally two of my names. And I knew it was like I knew it was a possibility that someone would take my old Connecticut name. But I don't understand why they would want to do that.
Right.
And here's why. When you type in Bad Drivers of Connecticut in search on YouTube, all 6 pages are just me.
Yeah.
With a couple of Connecticut DashCam sprinkled in there, Chris. Yeah. So, like, why would you use something like that when you won't show up in search at all?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
as opposed to putting in something different, like I'm gonna point out Driving Mistakes in SoCal. That's a different name. Nobody else has that name. So I recognize that name every time I see it because it's different. You know?
Yeah, it's a tricky balance because you have to optimize your name for search, like you said. You have to optimize it to stand out,
Hmm.
and you have to, without, like, if someone else in Napa Valley had a channel, Bad Drivers in Napa Valley, there'd be a lot of confusion, and he wouldn't
Uh-huh.
stand out.
Yeah.
So you have to make it unique, but make it true to your genre, but yet make it allow it to be searchable, and that's a really tricky thing. You have to be really creative nowadays with a channel name it's kind of become not standard exactly, but it's become more searchable to have a Bad Drivers of because it's so common.
Yeah.
Um,
That drivers of is searchable.
yes, it's searchable.
Everybody has that name.
It doesn't quite stand out in unless it doesn't stand out quite as much as, say, like Arizona Roadcam.
Yeah. And,
Like that stands out.
that's exactly why I chose it. Nobody else had Roadcam as a name. I
Right.
knew that I was going to drop Bad Drivers of, and I wasn't going to do Arizona DashCam or something like that.
Right.
And now all of a sudden, tons of Roadcams are popping up. So it's just like you've got to be different. And I say that all the time, is you got to be different.
Yeah, you do have to be different, but then the challenge comes up with then being searchable. It's like, it's a tricky balance. It's just really tricky.
Well, searchable, that's where your channel tags come in. So I still have Bad Drivers
Good point.
of in my channel tags. So
Right.
Arizona Roadcam is in the channel tags, but so is Bad Drivers of.
Right.
So that is, you could utilize your channel tags for that reason. It'll still
Yes.
pop up,
That's a good point. I kind of forgot about channel tags.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, you heard it from Wendy. Do those channel tags, everybody. Trying to think here. But in terms of getting known and seen when you're starting out at a time like this, when there are already, probably over 5,000 dash cameras, is hard. It's really, really hard.
Yeah.
It's not like it used to be. Like I said, for any of you who are just now tuning in, or who missed the first part of the chat. Wow, I forgot what I was going to say. Actually, I was like had it in my mind and I was leading up to it, and then bam.
So what
like
else?
Like an old man, I just forgot what I was going to say.
Oh, you're getting old. What I'll say is I could tell you what I did to grow, but it's not necessarily gonna work because, again, like you said, there's so many people. So what I did was comment on 50 million videos, and
Yeah.
I didn't self-advertise because you don't want to do that. You'll just piss everybody off. It's like I let my name speak for myself.
Right.
Like they saw Bad Drivers of Connecticut, and so I commented on everybody's dash cam videos, and I commented about the video. Like I was saying, at this, I talked about the video. I never even like self-advertised or anything because that's horrible. But I also commented on non-dash cam videos because to me that's more important because people are seeing your name and you're not like lost in a sea of comments on a dash cam video of other dash cammers.
Yeah.
So like I always, to this day, I always comment on every video I watch, and it's always about the video too. So I'm not like, because people automatically skip over self-advertisers.
Yeah, like hey, check out my channel.
Yeah, exactly. That's lame, I think.
It is. I agree.
Yeah. So I comment the heck out of every channel that I'm subscribed to. Every time I watch a video, I almost always make a comment. And so that people at least, and for one, because I'm commenting on a YouTuber that I like and I want to comment on the video, but also people will see my name and I think, oh, Arizona Roadcam, let me check that out.
Yeah.
So that, like, you got to get yourself around. You got to get around.
And what you said is exactly what I was going to say. So I'm glad you helped me out there, because I was leading up to my thought. I forgot it. Had a brain fart, a very wet brain fart, and then you saved the day. So I appreciate that. So she's right. That's what you got to do. That's especially when you're new. And it's good to keep doing, of course, throughout your career, your YouTube career. But that's. Oh, I did want to get to a question here.
Yeah, SoCal
Roadcam. Yeah. What makes us dislike a video? Maybe I'll let Wendy start with that.
What makes me dislike a dash cam video?
Yeah.
When the camera is just bad, I don't dislike many videos. If I don't like something, I usually just click away.
Right.
I'm not a video disliker, but what makes me dislike any video is if it pisses me off. Like a majorly clickbait sometimes will piss me off, or someone doing something really controversial or annoying. Dash cameras in particular, if they're being a hypocrite, you know, like they're calling out people on their driving, but they're driving super poorly as well, and they don't acknowledge it. And you know, like I that's usually what will make me dislike a video. You know, you can't have a dash camera driving horribly while trying to show off bad drivers everywhere else, because it's kind of like condoning that driving.
Right.
You know, and like everybody makes mistakes, absolutely. I put them in there. My mistakes, I'll put them in there.
Yes.
And so it's just like, but when it's like constantly, or you don't acknowledge it or something, like I said, hypocrisy, that'll make me dislike. But like I said, usually I just click away. I don't finish watching it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I would say the same here. That's what makes me click dislike. And I'm assuming what he means by what makes you dislike a video is the actual physical act of clicking the dislike button.
Yeah.
And I'd have to say the same thing. I'm not a big disliker. I don't. If generally speaking, if something's boring, I'll just not finish watching it, and I won't click dislike. I will only click dislike if it's the person is acting ruthless in the video.
Mm-hmm.
And there have been a select few dash cameras that I have disliked their videos due to just the horrible driving that you were talking about.
Yeah.
And yeah, but in terms of just not liking or being fond of a video, it can also be as something as simple as that the clips aren't that exciting. You know, somebody didn't use their turn signal, and I used to be guilty of that, not of including those clips of everyone who didn't signal, and now I hardly ever include it unless they're not signaling affects me in a major way.
Yeah, that's the main thing that'll get me to click away from a dash camera video, is if it's boring. And putting in little things like you said, like blinkers, or someone drifted out of their lane briefly but it didn't affect anybody. That's boring, you know. And it's just like things that I don't want to see, and I'm sure a lot of other people are like that.
Another thing, actually, one thing that will trigger a dislike from me instantly, and I don't mean just not liking it, but clicking the dislike button, are dash cameras who publish raw video files from their dash cam. Like, say it's 3 minutes and 1 second long. That's the average length of a 3-minute clip from a dash cam by default is 3 minutes and 1 second. And so somewhere within that 3 minutes is the bad driving incident, but we don't know where in the video it is, so we have to watch the whole 3 minutes just to find that one thing. I will instantly dislike that.
That's all part of editing.
Instantly.
Yeah, because it's
boring. People who don't edit, who just paste up the raw clips, unless the action is all throughout or it's at least mentioned somewhere in the description, oh, skip ahead to this point. But even then, I won't like it. If it's just not trimmed. If it's not even at least trimmed. Yeah. And that kind of leads me to the next thing. There have been some dash cammers saying that they're going to move toward a trend of uploading individual clips instead of compilations. In my own opinion, I think that's a terrible idea.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not even going to sugarcoat that one.
Well, it's a terrible idea if you're going to spam it.
Right. If it's worthy of a standalone clip, then there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's great. Like something that needs to be highlighted, like what I've done, the golf ball incident, or the man who pulled out in front of me and we had a little chat afterwards. Things like that deserve their own clips, things that are kind of extreme. But, you know, your average dash cam capture, really, you're going to upload those individually? Yeah. Not a good idea. So.
Yeah, a lot of those are annoying.
So to those saying that they're moving away from compilations into individual clips, no. Keep the compilations.
I would say you make the compilations shorter if you want. You know, if you keep uploading 30-second videos, that's gonna hurt your watch time so bad that you might not get recommended at all. But if you think that people don't want to watch whatever length video you have, just try shortening it a little bit, you know?
Right. Do you watch, I see SoCal Roadcam's in here too. I've been trying to keep up with the comments, but it's sometimes hard to talk and think and read at the same time.
That's okay. I'm reading too. I'm trying to keep up.
Yeah. So she wants to hear from us. What was her? I think her question was: is she too aggressive in her videos?
Yes, if she was an aggressive driver. I can't really answer that.
You're pleading the fifth?
I don't watch.
You don't?
Enough videos of hers to make any kind of comment.
Judgment?
I don't know.
Because the thing with me is I don't have time to watch everybody's videos all the time.
Yeah.
No matter how much I want to, I can't because I'm busy. Seems like I'm always busy. And I have very limited time every day. But I try to keep up with people's videos, and I may not catch all of them every time, but I do my best. And there are just so many dash cameras to keep track of that I just can't watch them all. So I don't know. I mean, it depends by what you deem overly aggressive.
If you want us to watch a video or two in the next couple weeks, I can do that.
I mean,
I'll watch it and let you know, but you know.
SoCal Roadcam, I mean, you do drive a little fast, but I don't know if that in and of itself could be called aggressive. It's based on that, I would say no.
It depends. I mean, most people drive faster, but some people drive extra fast. But if you're someone who's gonna tailgate or honk at the slower drivers, which are gonna pretty much be everybody if you're driving fast a lot, then that's aggressive.
I don't remember seeing any tailgating in her videos. Just a little bit of a lead foot, but you know, that's not a terrible thing in my opinion. It's as long as she's not like cutting people off to the point where they're having to hit the brakes, then I think she's fine. That's my opinion. the best opinion I can give at this
Yeah,
time.
I can't really give a good enough opinion.
I think weaving in and out of traffic in and of itself, I mean, again, as long as you're not cutting people off, I mean, well, then you have to define what cutting off is. I define cutting off as
The same definition as an unsafe lane change.
if the person has to hit the brakes, and it doesn't not look like she does that in her videos. So
yeah,
I'd have to say, based on what I've seen, I don't think you drive too aggressively. But there are some dash cammers who do.
Yeah. You sometimes you have to take an account of where they are.
Yeah, that's right.
I think some people will say I drive kind of aggressively, but the way I drive is definitely different from the way people drive in Arizona.
Yeah.
Because Connecticut was a whole other monster.
Yeah.
And you had to be, I think, passive aggressive to be able to survive on Connecticut roads.
Right. Do you guys remember the DashCammer Brooklyn pilot?
Never heard.
Never heard of him. He was a New York. No, he wasn't a cab driver. He was just a New York driver, New York City driver. Now, if he had been driving out here where I am, then people would be calling him out 24/7. But it just goes to show that it all depends on where you are. Like, he would honk at someone about a second after the light would go green.
Yeah, see,
that's typical of New York. You wouldn't really expect anything differently of drivers there. It's kind of fits into their driving culture, but out here it would be a no-no.
Yeah.
Just depends on where you are. You know. But he did drive a pretty sweet car, in my opinion.
Yeah. I've been to New York. I've driven.
Yeah. And
someone
what do you think?
If you've never been to New York, you can't judge those drivers. They're just as monstrous as Connecticut. Because Connecticut is sandwiched between New York and Massachusetts. So the bad habits of both those states have been incorporated into Connecticut drivers.
Yeah.
So
now, it's interesting.
It's definitely different. It's like you definitely have to drive and think differently, at least from East Coast to West Coast, for sure.
Well, actually, drivers in San Francisco are pretty much like New York drivers. I've actually seen people honk at drivers before the light even turns green, if you can believe that. I've actually seen that.
Yeah.
I've seen plenty of drivers honk when the light turns green.
Yo, I got honked at today, and it was green for like 1 or 2 seconds. And I was like, fuck you, give me a chance to move.
Yeah. It's, you know, where was I going with that? SoCal brought up a good point here. Let me see if I can go back to that. She says, thinks Arizona drivers fit in California, at least the ones I see.
There are plenty of...
Somehow I had that backwards. For some reason I read that as California drivers fit in Arizona. There are a lot of transplants in Arizona from California.
There are a ton of California drivers here.
Oh, yeah.
All the time. And they drive stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
But not any more stupid than the drivers here.
Yeah.
But the drivers here are not as bad as Connecticut. They're nowhere near as bad as Connecticut.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Not absolutely nowhere.
The drivers in your area are more clueless and careless more than they are being jerks. Like the ones in Connecticut were just jerks.
Oh, yeah. I had this conversation with somebody, one of my writers, and we were talking about, he was from New York. And so we were talking about the drivers here. And I said that they are trying to be aggressive drivers, but they're not doing it very well. You know, like New York knows how to be an aggressive driver, and even though it's still like horrible moves, just like the way Arizona does it is just they're trying to push themselves in, but they're not doing it right.
Wow.
Like it was hard. It's hard to explain it now. Like the way we were talking about it, like was a lot more clear. But like they're trying to be aggressive drivers. Like I get cut off a lot. They just change lanes right in front of me all the time.
Yeah.
That's like the biggest thing. Plus red light running.
Right.
That's like the two big things that I found.
Yeah.
But they're nowhere near as horrible as Connecticut.
We have a mixture here of both the clueless kind and the jerk kind. The kind you'd expect on the East Coast, and then the kind you'd expect from, I don't know, a little Midwest town where nobody really needs to look both ways before they pull out. It's like we have a mixture of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where we are. Because here we have a lot of transplants. We have a lot of people from Southern California. We have a lot of people from the East Coast out here in the Napa Valley who live out here that are wealthy and have like 10 houses.
California is made up of everybody but Californians.
That's right. That's right. And everybody hates us too. So it works. You know, Oregon drivers really hate California drivers. We're really not liked in Oregon. We're like the most hated by Oregonians. Like there's all kinds of jokes about California drivers that Oregonians have.
I hated Pennsylvania drivers in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we always forget that we're not allowed to pump our own gas when we go up to Oregon, so we can get ourselves in trouble that way.
In Tucson, I hate the Mexican drivers.
Really?
Yeah, we have a lot of, not necessarily Mexican drivers, but we have a lot of Mexico plates.
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah.
A lot of plates for Mexico, so particularly Sonoma.
I've only ever seen one.
Sonora. We have them everywhere. They're everywhere. They show up in my videos all the time.
I think I've seen one, and I pay attention to plates. I've only ever seen one Mexican plate up here, and I think it was a dignitary that was visiting.
Yeah.
And I don't think he did anything to end up in my clip.
Yeah, it's either.
But I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, it's either a toss-up between
I do see a lot of Alberta plates here. Yeah.
I agree, Nick. I was about to say, like, it's a toss-up between Texas drivers or people from Mexico. Because Texas drivers are assholes. They know they're doing an asshole move, and they consciously say, I'm going to be an asshole to this driver. That they're absolutely assholes. And Cammie will agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
I do remember California DashCam, who's now Oregon DashCam. He used to give me a bit of hell over my style, but maybe I deserved it. That was what, a couple years ago, 3 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Like he hardly ever touches his horn.
It bothers me sometimes.
What's that?
It bothers me sometimes when people don't honk in certain situations.
When they really should be getting the person's attention. No, I know.
I don't think people need to like honk all the time. Absolutely not.
They don't need to all the time.
But there are times where you should be honking when someone doesn't honk.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes, believe it or not, sometimes I've forgotten to. Just wasn't thinking about it. I'm just more exasperated than anything.
Yeah, and a lot of times you're just trying to not die.
Right.
So you're not thinking about honking the horn.
Right. Yeah. So, I'm probably going to wrap this up by 10:15. So in about 9 minutes here, I haven't even eaten dinner yet, because I really wanted to do this stream. And
yeah, but you had like until 8:30.
I eat dinner late.
That's really late.
I eat sometimes 9 o'clock. I eat dinner.
Wow, that's so.
Well, that's because I'm usually up till like 1 in the morning, and my wife gets home from work, and we usually kind of time it to where, we can eat together. when she gets home. So that's why I eat so late. And I'm just accustomed to that. But it's a lot later. The average person
I know a lot of
probably eats.
late.
Yeah, I think the average person probably eats dinner between 5 and 6.
Yeah, I eat around 6:30 if I'm home for dinner because that's when she cooks it.
Yeah.
If I'm not home, it's usually it depends. It depends on when I ate lunch because that's when I wake up.
Yeah.
But so then, if we're gonna wrap it up soon, what else? What other questions do people have in the chat about dash camming or channels or advice or editing or anything like that? Like, someone was talking about what's a good first editor, and me, like a lot of people, used Movie Maker, but I know that they don't make that anymore. Well, at least I heard that Movie Maker isn't around anymore or not supported or something. So just use whatever free editor you can find if you don't have one on your computer already. I think Macs have iMovie. Just use that. Because that will let you, because usually the free software is super easy, and you won't have to like stress too much about how to use it when you should be concentrating on just like making a good video. And then just deal with that until you get super comfortable with editing and learning what kind of editing that you have, like how to edit, and then upgrade to something later on once you get a feel for what you want to do and how you want to edit and all that stuff.
Yeah, I agree with her.
So, like, everybody has tons of different editors.
I use Sony Vegas.
Yeah, people use Vegas. People use Adobe Premiere. People use the whatever the Mac is.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting what it is. Final Cut Pro. I use the Filmora, and I recommended that to Six, and he loves it. Like his last video was all like nice and pretty. So it's just like, yeah, use whatever free software you can get your hands on, so you can get used to it, and then decide what will be good for you later on. My dash cam is doing fine. It's doing some weird power thing that I haven't figured out yet, but the dash cam is good. It's still doing good picture. Someone asked about it.
Same here. I use an Audio-Technica microphone, a discontinued model. I paid $700 for it.
Oh.
And a Zoom H4n recorder that I plug the mic into for the voiceover stuff, for the narration. And I've really thought long and hard about that. And I am going to keep doing the narration as I've been doing. I don't narrate every single clip. I only narrate maybe 1 out of every 10 clips on average. So I don't think that's excessive. But I've had voiceover training and invested all that money in audio equipment that I've used for other purposes. And I just don't want to let that all go to waste. So I've decided to stick with the narration stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I know people either love it or hate it, but it just is what it is.
I don't mind it. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's better than pause to read.
Oh, God. Anything's better than that.
Pause to read so bad. I hate it.
Yeah. I don't do that at all anymore.
I'm glad you don't.
No, I quit that.
Because I don't pause to read. I read until it goes away.
Yeah. That's right.
And when somebody pauses so you can read it themselves in their own video, DDS, I hate it even more.
Yeah. It's got a new computer with the same RAM, and it's even slower with Vegas. Ooh, interesting. That's interesting. Do you have the same number of cores? There are other things that can bottleneck the information or the processing power of a computer. Oh, what DashCam do I use? Well, we use Rexing V1s for our front cameras, but I'm not going to go back with the. I'm not going. If I have to, when it comes time to replace my cameras, I'm ditching the V1. I've had it with the audio issues and the little blurring on one side. So Rexing V1 for the front, and use G1W for the rear. And I'm going to be getting an A119 probably for my next dash cam, front facing.
As much as a lot of us shit on the G1W, I think that might be a decent dash cam to start off with.
Yep, it is.
So, who makes that one? Blackview?
No. That's a good question. It's sold by different companies, but it's. I don't know if they exactly have a name. It's sold through different outlets like Black Box, but it's not a Blackview. No, it's Blue Sea Sky. No, that's the seller. Good question. It's just this kind of unnamed company.
Yeah. It is a company, but
yeah, it is a company, but they don't. It's not obvious what the company name is, so that's not sure. But the G1W is good for the money. As a good starter camera. But I'm going to be switching, I think, to the A119 unless anybody has objections to that. You know, it's just that the V1 just has trouble with audio. In some clips, the audio is just so faint and distant, and I have to really boost the volume.
I had that problem with mine, the Cobra that I have.
Yeah.
I went in there and changed the mic sensitivity because it has that option. It helped, but I still have to raise the volume to max.
I think
while I'm editing.
I think in my case, I think it's a firmware issue because if I stop the camera and restart it as I do to mark clips, the audio will change every time I do that. It'll go from being real faint to being normal in between clips, and so I think it's a firmware issue.
When it writes the clip to save.
Well, no. When I hit the stop button, the record button to stop it and then restart it, that's where the volume changes usually. It'll either go from normal to then really low volume, or vice versa.
Okay.
It's real weird. But I think it's a firmware thing. Oh, Anchor, yeah. I think Anchor puts out a good camera. I think Sony actually just recently put out a dash cam that doesn't have very many reviews on it yet. So I don't know what I'm ultimately going to do. Well, guys, it's 10:15. We have any last words here for our viewers before we go off the record here? No? Well, I guess I'll go ahead and quit the stream. Wendy, if you want to stick around for a minute after I stop the stream.
Okay.
So thank you guys for tuning in tonight. I hope that the information that we talked about can be helpful to you in helping your channel grow. It's a tough environment right now, but hopefully that'll help. And you all have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.